What's up, my peoples? How are you? All you Mustang fans out there, you guys that are trying to convert your old coupe to a fastback. Gosh, I've gotten some good feedback. Well, today we're going to learn together how to build some mini tubs out of your current wheel housing on your car. Why is that important? Well, it's going to be important because you're going to save a ton of money doing it. You can buy mini tubs if you want to. They're like 400 bucks. And then you're going to have to assemble those anyway. And so you can just spend your hard-earned cash on some mini tubs, and then you can weld them together yourself, finding that you're going to still have to deal with fitment issues and everything else. Or you can expand, if you will, the wheel houses that you have. I'm going to show you how to do it today. It's going to cost you about 20 bucks probably in material, and a little bit of time, a little bit of effort, and a little bit of energy. It's going to be, I think it's going to be worth it. That's what we're going to learn today. You will see. So why in the world do you need mini tubs in the first place? Can I show you why? Watch this right here. You see that right there? That's why. That's my hand. Look at that. Ooh, that is a fat little Sally right there. That little sassy frass is going to be underneath your car, and for that to be underneath your car, you're going to need to make these things, your wheel housings, bigger. And so what I'm going to do is today I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to show you how to build these. I'm going to show you how to spend about 20 bucks building them as opposed to say 400 bucks building them. And you and I are going to put them together. It's not going to be that hard. You're going to be able to do it. It's going to be easy. Regular tools. I don't have all the sheet metal fixing tools and all that stuff. I'm just like you are. I'm going to show you how to use an old tire wheel to make a loop and some other stuff. So we're going to do all that today. You're going to get it. It's going to be good. So this is your wheel housing. Almost any old muscle car or whatever has these. This is the outer wheel housing. This is what goes closer to the body of the car. This is the inner wheel housing, and I'm going to show you something about it. Let me just get this out of our way because the outer one, we're not going to mess with it right this minute. We're only going to modify the inner wheel housing. Remember, the issue is that what we're trying to do is we're trying to add some width to this so that this old tire, a tire this size is going to fit in there. So for that tire to fit inside there, we're going to wind up having to cut this thing. You see where the line is right here? So what I did was I did a really high-tech way of getting this line. How I indexed the line, I found just the flattest part I could find on the inner wheel housing, because I'm going to cut this apart, spread it apart, I'm going to add a piece to the middle of it. Okay, so on the inner wheel housing, that's the only one we're going to modify for this particular cause, this purpose. And, you know, first of all, you got to get a line, and I need a straight line that's going to go all the way around this wheel housing. And so how did I get that line? Well, the first thing I tried was I tried a big washer, big old fender washer. I laid it up against the lip like that. I took my Sharpie marker, stuck it in the hole, and I ran it down the edges. And that's how I did it. Well, it made the line wasn't far enough out. So that didn't work, and so I found me something else that would work, and this is sort of a door latch of a house or something. And so I took it, laid it up against the edge like this. So this is indexed against the edge. Took my Sharpie, put it in the hole, and I just guided that around. That's how I did my line. However you need to make your line, you can make your line. You could use tape if you wanted to. The main thing is I wanted something to index off of to make sure that the line was the same in the same spot all the way around. And so I indexed mine off of this lip here. And I just brought that line all the way around, and I've run it all the way around, up and down. That's where I'm going to cut this. And I'm going to use nothing more than a cutoff wheel, and I'm just going to cut this little booger. And this thing's going to be in two separate parts. And that's how I'm going to get this wheel housing separated, because ultimately, again, I'm going to cut this, I'm going to spread it apart. Right now, as I'm thinking about it, I think I'm going to flange it on both sides, and then I'm going to lay a piece in the middle, and I'm just going to weld that in, spot weld it, and then I may even, I don't know, I think I'm going to spot weld it, and I'll probably seam seal it. It's probably the way that I'll do it. Okay, so let me show you here. We got her cut. See it? She's cut. We just cut down that line. Now, we'll tell you something I did do. I did put some index lines on there so that I'd know where this met back up. Now, I took this is the inner wheel house, and I went ahead and I connected it. I went ahead and I connected it to the outer wheel house, went ahead and screwed those back together with just a couple of sheet metal screws. So this is the inner wheel house flange that's cut off from the other one. And I got to clean those up real quick, and then I'm going to show you what we're going to do from there. Okay, so once we got this cut, what we wound up doing was putting the inner and outer wheel housing back in the car. And if you'll notice, this lip it's indexed on the inner structure of the car. So that's where it was from the factory. So you know that the fender is where it's supposed to be. The outer wheelhouse is where it's supposed to be. So then once we cut it, I moved the inner wheel housing into where I've got the new frame rail. Now in your car, you may not have put a new frame rail. You may have just had to cut the edge out of your frame rail. If you're doing a Mustang like me, you're going to trim the edge that goes all the way up to the frame rail. You're going to cut all that material out, and you're going to move this wheel housing, the inner wheel housing, all the way up to the edge. You're going to go ahead and line it up, and you're going to go ahead and clamp it in like what I've got. And from there, I'm going to get my gap. So I'm going to measure my gap for this particular piece of metal that I'm going to fit in here. And I've got, because I am going to flange it and overlap it, I'm going to make it a little bit wider than I need. So 3 3/4 inches is the size of the material that I'm going to need for this filler piece when I cut it. So 3 3/4 inches is what I need for mine to lay up underneath the flange that I'm going to have on this. So now I know I'm going to mock it up first like this. I'm going to get my measurement, then I'm going to cut my material, and then I'm going to start putting it together. I got to get an idea of how much metal I'm going to need to cut out. I know it's 3 3/4 inches wide, but you're going to need your little tapey measure that's kind of squiggly like this one. And I'm going to put it along the rim of it. We're going to measure. We are going to measure. Look at that little dude. 4 foot 4 inches is all that I'm going to need. Before I cut that metal, I'm going to go ahead and put the flange on here because I think I'm going to need to do that. That way it gives me a little bit better. I just want to measure and make sure I'm correct on my measurements. I think I am, but I'm going to flange it. I got a little flanging tool. Before you start coveting my flanging tool, going, Scott, gosh, no wonder you do such fine work. You've got these high-tech tools. Harbor Freight, 30 bucks, 40 maybe, I'm not sure, I can't remember. And I've only used it like twice, so I've made it this far without having one. But I'm going to try it anyway. We're going to give that thing a shot and see if it works. This is a little flanging tool, you know what I mean? Flanger, flanger. I don't know the rights to that song, so just know that. So we're going to, hold on, I got to take something apart first. I had somebody the other day comment, and they said, man, we've not seen you do any work so far. I'm not even sure if you know what you're talking about. And you know what? Sometimes I ask the same question. I don't know if I know what I'm talking about either. I'm not welding yet, and that thing's getting hot. So here's the beauty. I told the dude, I said, you think you can hurt my feelings? Man, I'm a Christian. You can't hurt my feelings. You kidding me? Let's try this thing. Let's see what happens here. All right, the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little phalangulo machine, my little flanger, and I'm going to punch holes in this thing for the spot welds on here. Man, this is like a high octane hole puncher. Look at that, would you? Oh, God, it pinched the fool out of my finger. Watch where you put your finger on the thing. Pinched me. Gosh dang. That hurt. That's not a good idea. Don't put your finger up on top of it. Holy cow. My finger's in pain. Ow, the flipper pinched me. Yeah, shoot fire. Stick your finger up in that thing, it'll pinch the blood out of it. Probably makes sense since it's a flanger, pincher, puncher thingy. That hurt like a mother. Anyway, we're there. Okay, this little side here, this little dog is ready, y'all. Ready. So I'm gonna put another screw back in here, put this thing back to the togetherness, and then we're gonna cut that piece out. What's about to happen? Well, there's the dang hole at. There it is. See, the problem with this metal is when you go to cutting it, it's got some tension in it or something, so you'll have to kind of work with it. Work with it to make it work. See then there's. Now once I get this side done, I'm gonna weld all that together. Yeah, I'll weld that up. It'll look, y'all, it's gonna look spiffy. Gonna be gussied up like somebody ready for prom. I promise you. Okay. And I might put that where it's supposed to be and put a little tack weld on it too. All right, I don't see, somebody else punched the holes in that. I don't like how they punch them holes. They missed the metal. Come on, peoples. Oh, I gotta punch holes on this other side too. All right, let me get my phalangelo, punch some more holes. I just wanna clean your metal up. I'm gonna clean it up. That junk that's on there. Nasty, nasty. All right, I'm gonna be marking this out 3 3/4 inches. Okay. Now using my square, this is a sheetrock square. For those of you who don't know, I do not have a sheet metal shear. I wish I did, but I don't. I have what I have, and I'm going to use a cutoff wheel to cut this. And that's the end of that. Wish in one hand and tinkle in the other is what my dad used to say. He said, see which one fills up first. And I tend to think that the tinkling would probably fill up first. All right. There's that. If I sound like I'm out of breath, it's because I am. You might ask, why are you out of breath? And I will tell you, simply due to the fact that I'm fat. That's probably the biggest thing there. Hurt. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, now we're going to form it because it's got to make a circle, like kind of like a semicircle. Got my forming tool. Let's see if we can form it with this. See if we can just get it going in the direction we want it to go. Just going to get it close, you know what I'm saying? The end's got to get cut off anyway. It's pretty close. So here's your trick for the day. How I keep up with my screws when I'm working on something, that's a Harbor Freight magnet. I don't buy everything from Harbor Freight, but when I buy things from Harbor Freight, I buy it from Harbor Freight. Anyway, it's a magnet. Keeps up with my drivers and my screws. When I'm working on a car, I can just set it down and I know it ain't gonna fall off or go anywhere. It's when I got my hands full and I'm trying to drop something just so I don't lose it. That's how you do it. Got my little sheet metal screws right there. I'm gonna put my gloves back on. Because every time I mess with this freaking metal, I get my finger cut. And I don't want no more fingers cut, so here we are. Let's lift this little dumpling up on here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start on one end. This end right here. It's real technical the way I do this. Like you bend the crap out of it. All right, I'm seeing this is gonna work. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start using my endless supply of clampies. Come on, you sorry rascal. Get up in there. Let's get this little end on there. Once I clamp it on, you'll go, ah, beautiful. And I'll say, yes. Yes, my friends. All right, that's gonna be way up there. Like that, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, well, that's it. All right. Oh, man, that sucker bill's gonna have to get some more bend to it. All right. It's 18 gauge. I know you're going, why are you straining? Because I'm weak. That's the problem, people. You can say what you want to say. Son of a gun. I'm gonna need some more clamps anyway. Let me go grab my clamp. Trying to bend that straight. There she is. Oh, yes, sir. Oh, shoot. Not quite. We're close, though. All right. It's right up on that end, isn't it? It tees. It tees. Let's see if I can put a little clamper on here. Woo-hoo-wee! I think that just formed it. That is as good as it gets, people. Okay, that's gonna work. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna clamp the end of this thing. Right, cheers. Looks like that might do it. Ah, is it hard? Yes, it's hard. It's like wrestling a gorilla. So all I'm doing is I'm putting clamps on every little bit of this thing. And then I'm gonna run a little screw in there. You know what I'm saying? Just a little screw up in that little dude. And I'm gonna pull it up tight that way. Oh, it's on there. It's solid as a rock, people. Solid. Screw up in here. It's going to be near my spot weld. Yes, sir. Pulled up tight as a drum. Tell me it ain't. I don't know what they call these sheet metal screws, but the ones with this kind of head, I know you hear those people talk about the screw head ones, the little flat screw head ones. Bad idea. These are so much better. It's such a pain in the butt to have like a Phillips head screw. This right here, whatever you call this, it's not a cap screw. I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, hex head maybe. That's the way to go. Don't get the other stuff. It's a waste of your time. And if you look at this little inner fender well, this is the inside of it. You can just see where I run those little screws into it. See all that? Yep, and it doesn't look straight on the camera because that's a wide angle lens, but it is. It's straight. I hope you've seen the value of these little cap screw thingies. So they're just run all through there. And now we've got this thing extended out. No chance of it actually just sitting on there, but let's just say it will. It'll sit on there like that. And now we've got our mini tub, and I'm gonna weld all that in and it'll all look pretty and nice and the whole 9 yards. So. You're going to keep the seam tight because, you know, when it gets loose like this, you're going to put some clamps on it. You're going to clamp it around. You're going to go around and spot weld it. Okay, so it's banana time. I've got weld through primer painted on there, although it doesn't make any sense to me, the weld through primer thing. If the idea of weld through primer is that you can weld through it, but the fact that you can't actually weld through it, to me, it throws me off. You still have to scratch it off, so why not just buy primer? I don't know. You know, who asked these things? But look at that. All the surfaces are going to be covered, they're primered. I only did that because people would complain. I probably wouldn't do it otherwise. Anyway, I'm fixing to put the sucker on there for the final time, Lord willing. And the creek don't rise. So next time you look at this thing, it's going to be on the car, I hope. Okay, let me tell you guys where we are. I had to wind up putting the rear quarter panel back on. I'll take you inside the car, let you kind of see what I've been working on. Fitment has not been easy at all. I'm still working on this one. I think once I get this one done, what's bad is I'll know how to do the next one. There it is. Hoping it's focused. Anyway, I've got it screwed in and just kind of fitted. What I found was the flange is actually, and the outside of that inner wheelhouse is actually not, it's not straight, flat. So when I used the flange as the guide when I first showed you how to draw the line, means that the line was actually, the wheelhouse is got more at the top. There's more material at the top of the wheelhouse flange than at the bottom. So in other words, the wheelhouse goes at the top like this. It's kind of, you know, the wheelhouse kind of goes anyway. It's hard to explain. So I had to go back and reline it, recut it. I stuck it in there. I've got it fitted. I've got to pull it back out. I'm going to get it on the bench. I'm going to beat around on it. I'm going to do a little bit of hammer and dolly work and just kind of get the edges flattened out. And then I've got to get it welded in real good. To kind of show you where we're at, there it is. I've gone ahead and I've put the, gosh, I don't want to move around and make everybody sick, motion sick, but, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted. Okay, so if you'll look, kind of what we're looking at right there. Tires fit underneath it pretty good. I'm gonna have to trim this lip just a pinch, but I think it looks really good. I think the tires look good underneath there. Let me show you what it looks like from the back. There we are from the back. I think it looks pretty dang good. Now let me say this, when you look in here, you're gonna see where I knocked out that relief and that's still wrinkled up. I'm gonna fix that, but you can see where I added it. I have not welded it to the frame rail yet, but I will. That's coming up, so it's hard to see, but there she is. Tire fits up underneath there like it should. It's got plenty of room, both sides. I think it looks really, really good. Let me look around from this side. Maybe you can see a little better. There's that tire. Don't look near as big as it is. Okay, that's going to do it for this video. Y'all are amazing. Like and subscribe. Remember, I'm just a regular dude, just like you had somebody the other day that said, boy, there's something you don't know what you're talking about on or something. I'm like, you're probably right. Anyway, everybody on the internet knows everything. It's amazing. Like and subscribe. I do have a Instagram, Coupe to Fastback. Look me up there, Scott Harness, Coupe to Fastback. And I'll be posting some shorter stuff there. Remember, you know, when I'm working on my car, I'm going to tell you a couple things just real quick before we get off here. First of all, I'll do this as a break, man. It's a relief for me. I kind of enjoy the opportunity to mess with my car. A few years ago, man, I had some struggles as far as like just not getting, wasn't letting my mind rest, and I was doing mission and ministry all the time, and man, it got to be too much. So I do this a little bit. It's just my hobby because I don't want to quit ministry. Like I tell you, man, I enjoy messing with the Mustangs, but I love Jesus, and sharing the gospel is the most important thing I do with my life, and I would not change that for anything. And man, I can help you out with coupes to fastbacks. I'm going to help you out talking about that stuff, but if I can help you, if I can pray for you, if I can ever do anything for you, man, I'm more than available. Anybody that's ever written to me, reached out to me, will tell you, man, I will get with you. So let me know if there's anything I can do. And yeah, that's going to do it. I've only got one side done. That's the only problem with having two sides to a car. You got to do the other side too. Oof. Anyway, going to get it done. Anyway, God bless you guys. Y'all have a great, great, great rest of your week.